Can't, it's broken! It's broken!
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to NFR. It's Monday night. It means it's time for SAFRL Tier 1. This is round 4. We're in Barcelona, in Catalonia, Circuit de Catalunya, and we are awaiting the beginning of qualifying. Quiet pit lane for now. Everybody just selecting their setups. Obviously those setups get locked in at Parc Fermé, so if you make any mistake on that setup, you're stuck with it for the rest of the evening. Some drivers out on track early on. One of those drivers is Virus. Also has a teammate here today. It's Free, still in the pits. You can see just 13 runners tonight, so a lot of drivers will be missing their teammates. Just the one McLaren, just the one Alpine, just the one Haas, just the one Ferrari. Seems like Sauber and Williams also on their own. We have a pair of RBs, pair of Aston Martins, pair of Ferraris. Everyone else missing a teammate. We have 6 cars, 7 cars on outlaps. Now pretty much the entire field starting to get out for their initial run. Personally, I think big improvement there in Sector 3. No more of that silly chicane. Of course, Catalunya once had a chicane even sillier than the one they had in Sector 3. If you have no memory of that chicane, it's probably a good thing. It only happened once. It was in the 94 season. It was after the death of Ayrton Senna. Chicanes were added to straights on certain circuits. And Catalunya had a terrible looking chicane on its main straight. Another track to get that treatment was Canada. Terrible chicane. The back straight of that track. This is Virus. Fantastic logo on that RB. All except for the white. Logic over the line sets the fastest lap so far in 11.5. Then he's followed by Tiago Maestro. That's a 12.4. Virus 12.7. And Andre over the line with his first lap 13.5. So Andre having a good race yesterday evening. 5 drivers now have crossed the line. That order: Logic, Tiago Maestro, Virus, Andre and Divan. It's Ferrari now goes up into P2. Timing sheet beginning to get populated. Here is Mr. M. Aston Martin not doing that fantastic in 2024. The Aston Martin team had a fantastic season last year. This season they've gone somewhat backwards. The good news for Aston Martin is at least they've re-signed Lance Stroll. I'm sure that will work out great. He just went P2 and that was taken away by Brands. The one and only Red Bull here this evening. Speaking of Red Bull, who watched the race yesterday? That was fun till it got messy, and then George said, "I'll take that." Simps up into P5 at 1:12.4. Now you're starting to see these times get closer and closer together, especially in the midfield. Furry a 12.3, Simps a 12.4, Kliog 12.4. Very close times there in the midfield. The only driver not to set a lap time just yet is Wizards, and I think he's about to. As you can see, nobody messing about on their first run, everybody on a set of softs. Still waiting for the first lap time from Wizards. We know he's one of the quicker drivers in the field. I don't think anybody's going to be sandbagging too much. Of course, just the one qualifying session. If you do spend too much time messing around, leave it too late, find yourself starting from the rear of the field. Last night at SKR we had a race in Austria. There were a lot of overtakes. Don't expect overtaking to be as easy. Austria 3 DRS zones. Fastest driver on track so far is Mango. It's an 11.4. According to the comment section, that is not what he's capable of. There's more time in him than that, and maybe we'll see it a little later on. So far the gap between the top two, it's 11.4, 11.5, and then P3 11.6, and it carries on P4 11.7. So just 4 tenths cover the top four. Still waiting for Wizards. Get that initial lap. It's going to be an important lap, especially for the constructors. Just the one McLaren. And there you see he's run wide. That was a lap. He's going to back out of it. This is Divan in the one and only Haas here this evening. Sure if every time we see smoke on our screens, if that's an actual lockup. When you do see those lockups, you know the drivers are pushing for every tenth of a second they can find. A bit of banter between the top drivers, Logic saying that Mango is lying. So no belief in that 11.4. We'll find out by the end of the session if anybody is capable of putting it in the 110. Seems a bit extreme for now. That time very impressive. He'd have to find another half a second. Divan over the line, goes up into P6, improves his time, 12.4. And now all of those top four. 4 drivers covered by 4 tenths of a second. They're all on outlaps. So we may see that order change. Cheddar, the first of the top 4 to start his second quick lap of the night. The Mercedes driver. Mercedes on a bit of a high since yesterday. Car definitely on the up and up. He had told me in round 1 that Mercedes would be winning a race this season, this early on at least. I wouldn't have believed you. Just great improvement from so many teams across the board in F1 at the moment. If Sunday is any evidence, Max is feeling the pressure. This is Logic, currently in P2. Doesn't believe the man ahead of him is as close as that time suggests. This is Cheddar. He's About to go over the line. Does he find an improvement? No, he doesn't. Stays P3, 11.6. This is logic. He'll be the next one over the line. Then Mango. Mango just started his quick lap. The Alpine driver was in P2, he's actually just been promoted to P3. Brands has been able to find a couple of tenths. Doesn't get much closer than that, 11.5, 11.5. So Logic can put himself back into P2 with the slightest improvement. He's going to have to find a little bit more than a tenth to get past Mango. Mango's also out on track to defend that lap. Logic goes P2, gets ahead of Brands, but doesn't get close enough to Mango. 11.5 again. So it was a small improvement. Said he needed a small improvement to get P2 back. That's exactly what he's done. Ooh, and Mango getting in a tangle. We saw that live. I think he was just winding up for his quick lap. I'm not sure what happened there. I believe that was an Aston Martin. Yes, the Aston Martin comes into the pits. The Ferrari's going to follow him in. And I think as far as that run, that is a run abandoned. Not really sure what happened there. Maybe the Aston Martin was trying to stay out of the way. Somehow made it work. Or maybe he just didn't see Mango coming up the road. Whatever the case maybe, Mango lost out on that run, so no improvement for him for now. In the comment section, suggestions of a 110. So far, no evidence of that. Everyone in the pits at the moment, except for Simps, he's on a quick lap. Divan on an out lap, they used to have the track all to themselves. Everybody else in the pits with 5.5 minutes remaining, thinking of that final run. Mango will be slightly out of sync with the session. Remember, he had to abandon that second run. Ride with Simps as he looks for an improvement. Wasn't sure what was happening there, but he's dived into the pits. This Divan, the only man out on track. Good opportunity to put in a good lap. He's got this track all to himself. Guaranteed clean air all the way around the circuit. Quite a privilege to get in a short quali session. Lots of you watching. Thanks for everyone who's tuned in. It's going to be a good one. It's tier 1 on a Monday night. Hopefully, spoke about it in the comment section before the race. Hopefully, no safety cars. We get to watch Divan put the car backwards into the wall. He was looking for an improvement on that 12.4, and that's going to be another abandoned run. So maybe following the drivers is a bit of a curse. We've seen 2 now. Mango, through no fault of his own, he ran into an Aston Martin. Not sure what happened there. Sure, we'll get clarity after the race. Divan returns to the pits. We'll go with the one driver who's on a quick lap. He's just started the quick lap. It's Wizards. Another 3 drivers on outlaps. That's Virus, Spikes, and Loki. This is the one and only Papaya McLaren. Wizards. It's not looking for an improvement. It's looking for a lap time. Needs to get a lap time down on the board. saw him earlier on, went out, did a lap, didn't work out, backed off, tried again, didn't work out again, came into the pits. Just been struggling to get that lap time down. And obviously there isn't even a lap time there that's slow, there's no lap time registered, so I think he's just been invalidating, but we're quickly in sector 2 on this lap. Let's keep our eyes on this. Holding it all back to the end, possibly. Wizards up into P10, 112.7. And he'll be a little more relieved knowing he's not starting all the way at the back. So right now Mango's still out front with that initial lap time. Remember, he went out for a second run. It was an unsuccessful run. Wasn't able to set a quick time, got impeded on his outlap, chose to come back into the pits, put on a new set of tyres, I presume, and he's back out on circuit, defending a lap time that only has a 10th advantage over P2, so all still to play for with just over a minute remaining. Remember, everybody who gets over the start-finish line before that clock hits 0 will be able to finish their lap. Logic. Winding up for one more. Should be getting around comfortably. A minute remaining on the clock. This is Mango. Let's ride with the current pole sitter. Going as wide as he possibly can before turning into turn 1, trying to get all of the racetrack. You've got to be careful though, got to be spot on, go a little too wide and the whole lap is over. Mango pushing, giving it his all. You can see there on the battery already on 50% in the early stages of the lap. Logic also looking to improve on that time. Currently goes, look at the times there for the top 4. And 11.4, 11.5, 11.5, 11.6. 3/10 cover the top 4. Hope that translates to race pace. This is Mango. Let's see, can he improve? That initial run was an 11.4. We have predictions of a 1:10. Will he be able to get close? Almost. It's an 11 flat. And that's as close as you're going to get to a 1:10. 11 flat. Does anybody else have something left in their pocket? Logic probably looked up, saw the 11 flat and said, nope, not going to be able to improve. He dives into the pits. This is the man currently in P3. Cheddar's in P4, but he's not going to be able to improve. Sitting in the pits. Sims P5, he's already taken the checkered flag. So the only improvements we could see are from Brands, It's Free and Spikes. Those 3 drivers currently on quick laps. This is Brands. Is he on a quick lap? Doesn't appear to be on a quick lap. His battery's fully charged. This is It's Free, also doesn't seem to be going quickly. He dives into the pits. And I think that is that for qualifying. Well, Logic predicted a 1:10. Not quite. 11 flat. But it's as close as you're going to get. Those are just insane lap times around Barcelona. Guys are aiming for 1:10s. It's ridiculous. There are your results for qualifying. Mango, quickest man in the field, 11 flat. He faster than anybody else by almost half a second. Then Logic P2 is going to join him on the front row. Then Brands P3, Cheddar P4. They're going to be followed by Simps, It's Fabri, Virus, Tiago Maestro, Divan, and Mr. M make up the top 10. Then outside the top 10, Windsors P11, Spikes P12, Andre 13, and Loki making up the field. And now the fun and games of qualifying have come to an end. It's time for the real thing. It's time for where you get the points. It's time for the race. Of course, if we have a race like we had last week, safety cars will play a big role. But I think for the quicker drivers at the front, they'll be hoping for a good, clean race. No safety cars, so they can utilize their pace and get away off into the distance. Safety cars just keep on bringing their competitors back. We're currently looking at the pits because the drivers are finishing up on their strategies. Obviously, they're very limited to what they can do on the setup. There's maybe one or two things you can change. The rest is locked under parc fermé since the beginning of qualifying. Things they can adjust is if they anticipate multiple safety cars, maybe putting a little less fuel in the car so you have a lighter car at the end. But there's always the risk that we have a race like we had last night where there were simply no safety cars. Find yourself in a situation like that and you're going to have to start lifting with a few laps to go, and then with a field this close, it's going to cost you. We shall see now if the qualifying pace translates to race pace. If that's the case, I think this field is going to have a difficult time holding on to Mango. Almost half a second the difference in qualifying. That's a big advantage. I'm not sure if it's the biggest advantage, but I can tell you it's the biggest advantage I've seen is Jacques Villeneuve once was quicker. Well, we have a formation lap, so I can finish that. I can't tell you what Grand Prix it was, it just escapes me right now, but it may have been the Canadian Grand Prix, I'm not sure, but there was one particular year where Jacques Villeneuve outqualified, well, the entire field. He was on pole, but he outqualified his teammate, who was in P2, by 1.5 seconds. He outqualified Schumacher by almost 1.8 seconds. The drivers at the rear of the field, at the time, we still had the 106% rule, which means if you were too slow in qualifying, you simply didn't qualify in the race. As a safety precaution, your car would be too slow, it would get lapped too many times, and the FIA had to grant special permission to the cars at the back on that day, because Villeneuve's time was just, it was too quick. The race would have started with, I think it was 4 or 5 cars not qualifying. At least the gap is not that large tonight, but it is a gap of half a second, and it's a worrying gap. sort of gap, you know you've got to get into the lead in turn 1. Can't let Mango get into clean air right at the start of the race. Got to make a fight for it, because if he's able to apply that sort of pace in a race situation, the rest of the field is going to have a difficult time. Let's bring up your tyre situation. There we go. You can see the tyres. Most of the drivers going for the medium compound. We have 3 drivers starting on the soft, and the 2 drivers at the rear, Andre and Loki, they're going for the hard compound. The disqualifications are just the drivers who didn't get the parking right. Yes, we have a terrible camera angle. And there we go. Let's see, can we get a better camera angle? Nope. Terrible camera angles on F124. There we go, finally. Now we wait. Ferrari versus Alpine into turn 1. The Alpine on the soft compound, Mango on the medium compound. And the Alpine got ahead briefly, but the battle continues at the front, side by side. Who's going to come out on top? The Alpine knows, Logic knows, needs to get ahead of the Ferrari, needs to utilize those softs. If you're on the fastest compound, you need to be at the front. Can't be stuck behind the drivers on the slower compounds. Those mediums will come up to temperature, the hards will come up to temperature. There's actually 3 drivers on the hards, only spotted 2. But somebody may have joined. No, we still have 14 drivers. 3 drivers on the hards, 3 drivers on the softs, the rest of the field on the medium compound. Logic leads the way from Mango. Mango started on pole, Logic started P2, so those positions swapped on lap 1. Logic should have the early advantage with the tyres. But of course, as you all know by now, the softer the tyre, the shorter its life. So Logic will have the advantage, but it won't last as long as he wants it to. Mango's going to go a little deeper into the race with those mediums. So this is the time to grow a gap, make a difference. If Mango is able to hold on to that Alpine, those softs will begin to fall off, and all the medium runners will not have a very difficult time. Really can't stay out on those softs too long. They are amazingly quick in the opening laps. This is Simps, one and only Salva here this evening. Currently in P5, just behind the Mercedes-Benz of Cheddar. Completely useless. Thank you there for the AWS strategy. Well, the game's predicting either a one-stop or a one-stop. So, very informative. Logic leads the way. He's opened that gap up crucially. Beyond 1.5 seconds. We didn't see what happened to Mango, but he lost a few positions, went down to P5. And this could be crucial now for the leaders. Logic, Cheddar, Brand, Simps, Ferrari, all of those drivers ahead of Mango. We know Mango's got the pace, but something is wrong. He made an error, or there's something wrong with that car. I think that's your explanation. I think he has left the lobby. So Mango not in control of that Ferrari, and the Ferrari is going to start to plummet down the field. It's good news for the Alpine. Logic out front, chose a set of softs probably so he could keep up with Mango, but now Mango going in the opposite direction, and Logic's out front on the optimal tyre with a nice little gap. Cheddar setting the fastest lap of the race, and at a crucial time. It's in P2. He's not on the optimal tyre, he's on the medium and he's setting fastest laps. Gap at the front, 1.6 seconds. But Cheddar can't worry about logic just yet. He's got brands all over the back of him. Gap there just 2 tenths, and then Simps also part of that DRS train. Winzard's a little further back in P6, Virus P7. Ooh, and we've got someone spinning. That is a Sauber, that is the Sauber of Simps. It was a big spin. We've got a caution flashing on our screens, hopefully that's all it will be. Seems like the Sauber is back underway, but could lose another position here. Sometimes just what takes a while to get your momentum back, to get some temperature back into those tyres. Windsor picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that'll annoy him. Started the race on softs, was making good progress, made a few overtakes, and now that 3-second penalty is just going to hurt. It's Ferrari and P4, Brands P3, he's been attacking the Mercedes-Benz but hasn't been able to get past Cheddar just yet. Those two cars on the exact same strategy, both starting on mediums. And now the Red Bull does get by. Long, powerful DRS zone here at Catalunya down that main straight, just over 1 kilometer long that main straight. And we've got our first safety car of the evening. It's lap 5. And the race has been neutralized. There we go, we're back. Safety car, lap 5 of 33. Let's just try and see what is the status of Mango. At least from that angle, doesn't appear to be ghosting anymore. There we go, I think Mango has got back into that car. Good news for the Ferrari driver, but now he's going to find himself in P9. I think the safety car did come out and soften the blow. Let's see, what does Mango do? Does he come into the pits? No, he doesn't. Sticking to the original strategy, he's going to hold on to track position. Means he's going to make up a whole bunch of positions on the cars that did pit. There we go. P5 now for Mango. So at the restart, he'll have a set of mediums with still a lot of life in them. He'll be in P5 and he'll be able to see the leader. So a race that could have gone very, very badly. I think the safety car may have helped out that Ferrari. As for the second Ferrari, I'm not sure what happened there, but it appears Loki has been lapped. This is a very annoying situation for anyone. I don't think a lot of the guys here in Tier 1 will know what it feels like to be lapped. But what happens in a situation like this is if you're being lapped and a safety car suddenly comes out, you get stuck in that queue. In the real world, sometimes the safety car will let the lapped cars go and catch the back of the field, but in the game it simply doesn't do that. So if you're a lap behind and a safety car comes out, well, you can't utilize that safety car to come back into the race. You're just trapped a lap behind. And if you do start trying to unlap yourself, I think some of the quicker drivers are going to get a little annoyed. It's not something you see very often, but it is something we saw yesterday in Austria. Some of the drivers being lapped, coming in for a fresh set of softs and then being faster than the cars that just lapped them. Lance Stroll, for instance, unlapped himself once or twice. Of course it is legal. Within the rules of F1, if you even if you are a lapped car, if you do have the pace in the car ahead of you, you may make the overtake. Sometimes you don't want to be the lapped car. You know you're a lap behind, you're out of the points, and you're just hoping nobody's going to run over you. Very unfortunate to be lapped this early. The only thing I can imagine happened there was, I'm not even sure. Probably spent some time at the racetrack, went to the pits, and then the safety car came out at the worst possible time. Safety car in this lap, we get confirmation. And in case you didn't see the confirmation, it begins to flicker on the top left of your screen. One of F124's many added features. We'll go to the front of the field so we can get a better look at the restart. Brands is going to be in charge of this restart. He's going to lead the way from Cheddar. So there has been movement in that leaderboard as a result of the safety car. Some cars coming in to make a pit stop. Especially those cars that started on softs, they would have wanted to jump in and get rid of those. And now Cheddar looks towards the inside. I thought we were going to have a pass into turn one, but Cheddar thought better of it. A little bit more patience. Playing the long game, long way to go. Virus P3, Divan P4, Logic P5. Saw Mango lose a position and I thought he was ghosting again. We quickly go to the Ferrari, can confirm he's not ghosting. That is his main opponent in the race, just ahead of him. This is Logic, we ride on board with him. Remember, Logic would have had a fantastic lead over Mango. That safety car worked out well for Mango and not so well for Logic. Remember, he had to come in, get rid of those softs, didn't really get the most out of them. He's got 5 laps out of the softs. That's when you're supposed to be the quickest. And Divan runs wide. And as a result, Logic is able to make up an easy position. Overtaking sometimes can be so difficult, and when you get an opportunity like that, you just got to take it. Divan runs wide, Logic takes full opportunity, goes back up into P3. Remember, he was battling with Cheddar and Brands there in the top 4. Now he's just behind them and he's done a pit stop. So that's how you get a free pit stop. That's the definition of a free pit stop. 2 guys ahead of him, just 2 seconds up the road, they need to make their pit stops, which means they're going to come out 20 seconds down the road from where they are now. The safety car has already massively affected this race. Because Loki's car is ghosting now, so both Ferraris having their issues during the course of the race. As for Mango, he's been able to pull this race back pretty nicely. Sitting in P4, the race looked like it was going horribly wrong as his car ghosted and he began to fall down the field. Then a safety car came out. Ooh, and he's just driven through his teammate Loki, having all sorts of trouble at the rear of the field. Does that mean he's been lapped again, or is he just being lapped by the rest of the field? I'm not even sure. Cheddar leads the way, Brands P2, Logic looking to get into the battle for the lead as well. He's 1.6 seconds adrift from that battle. Now Mango has picked up a position, he's up into P4, it's Free, P5, Spikes, P6, everyone in a DRS train right now, all the way down from P3 down to P11. We have a caution, we have a penalty, Divan, 3-second penalty, corner cutting. Here in Barcelona, it's not so much the corner cutting, it's usually the running wide, taking too much exit, going over the white lines. And as we saw in Austria, the way to fix that is more gravel. Cheddar leads the way, Brands P2. Cheddar just doing a bit of a weave, trying to break the DRS, the slipstream slightly. Not much you can do. Ooh, and Brands very late on the brakes. Car going sideways there into turn 1. He's not going to have the very best traction. That should allow the Mercedes to come back at him. Like I say, just not the easiest track to pass on. It's got that one powerful DRS zone down the main straight. If you want to utilize it, you've got to make sure you stay close for the rest of the lap. To apply the pressure, maybe wait for a mistake. If the mistake doesn't come, well, then you have to wait for turn 1. Turn 1 is the biggest passing opportunity on the circuit, or at least the easiest one. You can get through pretty easily on DRS. Further back, P6, P7, the two Williams, both in the points. It's Ferrari, the one RB in the points, the other not. Virus in P12. This is Mango. It's not as close to Logic as I thought he would be. Logic in P3, and as I say that, he's not in P3 anymore. He just goes up into P2. There was contact, I think, or the Red Bull was very late on the brakes. Either way, we saw the Red Bull going sideways ever so briefly, but fantastic driving from Brands. A lot of other drivers would have lost that. He was able to maintain it on the tarmac and maintain some good momentum. He did lose 1.3 seconds, but that could have ended very badly. Could have ended in a safety car. Brands holding on to that at high speed. Nicely done. Cheddar up front, Logic P2. Cheddar would have been enjoying that lead. Now all of a sudden he's going to see an Alpine behind him on fresher mediums. Both those cars on mediums, but Cheddar started on that set. Logic recently got his set under the safety car. Should be an advantage at the moment. Should have the superior grip. And you can see how powerful this DRS zone is. For a long time this was the longest straight on the F1 calendar. Just slightly longer than, I think it's just slightly over 1 kilometer. Of course, in modern day that's no longer the case because of the modern street track. Logic leads from Cheddar. The gap was just half a second while these two battle. Mango just hasn't had the same pace in this middle phase. Remember, his mediums are 12 laps old. Logic went on a different strategy. Remember, he was the only driver in that top 4 that started on a set of softs. So when the safety car did come out, decided to jump into the pits, get rid of the softs. So now he's on mediums, but he's out of sync with everybody else. Cars behind him, Cheddar, Brands, Mango, all 12 lap old tyres, 13 lap old tyres. So he'll be able to go a little deeper, maybe hoping for a second safety car. All of those drivers do need to pit, but surely Logic will need to pit again. If he was going for a one stop, got compromised by the safety car, had to come in a lot earlier than he would have wanted. He couldn't stay out there on the soft, because he'd have to come in a few laps later. Low he has officially retired from the session. That's now a confirmed DNF. We're down to 13 runners from the 14 that started. 2 drivers have penalties. That's Windsors and Divan. And I wonder if that DNF triggered a safety car. Didn't look like it at first. We saw the DNF, but there was no safety car initially. But we're into the second safety car of the evening. First one was on lap 5, second one lap 14. Said Logic may be waiting for a second safety car, and he's got that second safety car. Remember, we said he was out of sync with everybody else. Now he's going to be back in tune with everybody else. He's going to come into the pits. Those two, all the cars behind him, they would have been looking to get rid of those mediums anyway. Has anyone stayed out on track? It's Ferree decided to stay out on track. He's got 9 lap old mediums. Tiago Maestro, same story with him, 9 lap old mediums. So still a bit of life in those mediums, and they decided to hold on to track position. But you've got to say it's going to be difficult for them at the restart to be competitive when the majority of the field behind them have brand new tires. Now remember, the rule in F1 is you have to use 2 compounds. It's Ferree, rather Logic, started the race on a set of softs. Under the first safety car, jumped onto a set of mediums. And under the second safety car, he's jumped onto another set of mediums. I wonder if he can take these mediums to the end of the race. His competitors there, Cheddar and Brands, they went for the hard tire. Mango, well, he's gone for the soft. I think some of these drivers expecting more of this. Evening as well to Panda. Sorry, I haven't looked at the comment section. It's been good racing so far. I've had 2 safety cars. It keeps the drivers on their toes. It's not about just picking up a strategy and going to the end of the race with it. Every time the safety car comes out, you've got to rethink that strategy. What are you going to do? How old are your tires? How many laps remain in the race? Are you going to stay out, hold on to track position, come into the pits, throw the dice, try something new? Sometimes you throw the dice and you look like a hero. Sometimes you throw the dice and you're left wondering why you did that in the first place. J-Boy confirming he'll be on track on Wednesday night. That will obviously be SAFRL Tier 2. Yes, I'm sure everybody here knows it already, but Tier 2 follows exactly the same calendar as Tier 1. It's run on a Wednesday night, so basically you get to see this all over again. I wouldn't say the drivers in Tier 2 are much slower. I just don't think they want to come here. They're a little tentative. Some of the drivers here in Tier 1 have been described as aliens. So other drivers prefer to remain in the safety of Tier 2. Tier 2 drivers now starting to make up excuses in the comment section about how much slower they are. I don't believe it for a second. I was once part of a league that was primarily one tier for a very long time, but then it's all bit of growth, and they added a second tier to the league, and I can't remember who it was, but basically there was a driver in that tier that went on to win the championship, and he was quite dominant, to say the least. And at the end of the season, when we suggested he move up to tier 1, well, he refused, remained in tier 2, won the championship again by dominance. And then when we tried and pushed the subject that he had to go to tier 1, well, he simply left. So that's why I've always believed some drivers like to just hide in tier 2. But of course, tier 2, we always see a fantastic race on a Wednesday, just as we do on a Monday. Guys may be a bit slower, but that field is just as close as this one is. That's the thing with SAFRL, it doesn't matter if you're in tier 1 or tier 2, the quality of the racing remains the same. Lap times may look a little different, but the battles on track are just as good. Here we go, we're getting ready for a restart. Got a car jumping out of the way there. I'm not sure what happened there. It looked like it was a Williams that went offline, but nope, it's a Williams out front. It's Thiago Maestro, and he's leading the way from Logic, but for how much longer? I think Logic's got the inside. Well, he had the outside rather. So Logic back into the lead of the race. Thiago Maestro, he's gone backwards. He's off the circuit. He's down into P9 now. He was the leader at that restart, remember? Cheddar was in P2, but now comes under pressure from Mango. Remember now at the restart, Mango the only driver on track with a set of softs. Simps now gets a 3-second time penalty. We've had 2 DNFs in the race, Wizards and Loki. We have a caution flashing on our screens, and hopefully it stays that way. Seems like Wizards is off at turn 1. We can see the stationary car, but no safety car for now. It seems that caution has disappeared. Wizards is no longer sitting at turn 1. So hopefully now we can just get back underway. Logic leads the way. Mango P2 on a fresh set of softs. And then Cheddar going with something completely different. The top 3 mediums, softs and hards. 3 very different ideas about how they're going to win this race. Mango will definitely have to pit again. So I think he's hoping for a 3rd safety car. Is Logic going to pit again? And if he doesn't pit again, what sort of shape will those tyres be in at the end? Is he going to be able to do much with them? This is the Salva of Simps, just behind Cheddar. Cheddar not really being able to hold on to the leaders. That gap 2.5 seconds now. The gap at the front though, much smaller, just half a second. Logic leads from Mango. Mango should have the advantage in the tyres. At this stage in the race at least, just 4 laps on those softs. And he should have all the traction he wants. He's also going to have the help of DRS, the help of the fastest lap, slipstream, battery, everything in going the way of the Ferrari. He's not going to have much of a difficult time getting past. Now he's got the soft tyre. I said at the beginning of the race, Logic had the soft tyre. He needed to get out front and try build a gap. He wasn't able to do that because the safety car came out on lap 5. Now the roles have reversed completely. Mango out front on a set of softs, and he needs to extend this gap because he's going to have to pit again. 8 tenths, so he's already taking a lot of time out of that Alpine. crucial that Logic stays within DRS for as long as possible, and as I say that, the time just goes over a second. So Mango making up a lot of ground on those softs. Those softs will begin to fall off. Logic's just got to make sure he stays as close to him as he possibly can, because I'm almost certain Mango will pit again. If you know in the comment section. Obviously the hards will go to the end, but mediums, will they go to the end? Mango, this is exactly what you need to do. When you're out front on a soft tire, this is what you should be doing. It's going fastest lap after fastest lap. The gap is 1.2 seconds. Logic's doing everything he can to stay with him. Mango may be out front for now, but the longer Logic can stay with the Ferrari driver, the more this race could come to Alpine. Because remember, Mango's on the soft, Logic's on the medium. He's pulling away, but he should be pulling away as a result of the tyre. If Logic's able to hold on to him, well then he's not getting the full benefit of those softs. And it looked like he was pulling away. Now Logic's just reeling him in a little. Wonder if he's doing a little tyre management. We looked at the temperature, just calming things down. Van der saying the medium should make it to the end. That would mean that Logic could be looking to take this all the way to the end. Mango will have to pit again. Gap just 1.3 seconds, so the Alpine doing a fantastic job. Said he needed to hold on to him, and he's doing exactly that. Panda giving some vital information, thanks Panda, saying the medium should start going off round about lap 28-29. That means if they do go off round lap 28-29, Mango's going to have 5 laps remaining in the race, where he'll have to probably come in, put on another set of softs. Apologies, not the softs of Mango. So Mango leads the way, but those softs will begin to fall off. And that's why I keep on talking about the man in P2, because he's doing a fantastic job. He's holding on to that Ferrari. He's going to be able to go to the end of the race. Mango won't be able to go to the end of the race. So this race could be coming to Logic. Obviously we just had that smattering of safety cars. Sometimes it comes down to luck, where you are on the circuit when the safety car is called. Panda saying then again, Mango could take those softs to the end. That could be the answer why Logic is able to hold on to that soft runner so well. Maybe he's just managing those tires. Well, at the beginning of that run didn't look like he was managing tires. He was throwing purple lap after purple lap. And now the gap is starting to grow. He has responded. 2.1 seconds now the gap. Logic still in P2. Cheddar hasn't been able to stay with those two. He's 5 seconds down the road in P3, having a bit of a lonely race. Sim's not far behind, but he's got a penalty, so that will hurt him in the race. Brand's P5, followed by its Ferrari. Also had a bit of an up and down race. Divan P7. And Mr. M loses out, goes down to P9. Spikes makes up a position. Really close here between 8, 9 and 10. Two drivers currently out the points, Thiago Maestro and Andre. But at the front, gap just closed again, 1.9 seconds. So either he's doing just enough to manage the gap, managing those tyres, or Logic is pulling off a fantastic drive. Of course, that's one thing we'll never know, is what the drivers are thinking, what they have in mind. Mango's a much smarter driver than that. He knows Logic is 2 seconds adrift. He'll know that if he has to pit again and kiss the race goodbye, maybe he is managing those tyres. It would be an impressive feat. What would that be? That would be what, 18 laps on the soft? That's pretty impressive. Mango out front, 2.2 seconds, so the gap not growing, not shrinking, just maintaining. Cheddar P3 was 5.5 seconds adrift, now just 5 seconds adrift, so he's making up a bit of ground on those two ahead of him. 4.8 seconds. This is Mango and Logic. You can see that gap now getting bigger, 2.5 seconds. .3, keep your eyes on that gap at the front. This is Spikes going up into P7, Mr. M P8, Virus, P9, and Andre up into the points in P10. That was as a result of this pit stop. It's Ferrari coming into the pits, putting on a set of softs. He will finish the race with those softs. But he's at the rear of the field. He's in P12, out of the points. So he's got a quick tyre, but he's given himself a handful at the end. Surely Tiago Maestro is also going to have to pit. He's already got 20 laps on those mediums. Gap now 2.4 seconds at the front, not much of a change. As far as Cheddar, well, he's found a bit of pace. We saw that gap between top 2 and P3, it was 5.5 seconds, then it was 5, now it's 4.2. So the Mercedes in P3, we haven't spoken too much about him, we've been focusing on the top 2. He might just come into this at the end of the race. Remember, top 3 drivers, 3 different strategies. Mango the leader on softs, Logic P2 on mediums, and now Cheddar starting to make up ground in P3 on a set of hards. And because all of those drivers made their pit stop under the last safety car, they all have tyres that are 12 laps old. So at the end, Cheddar's going to have the best set of tyres. Might come in here from the rear and just steal a race that looked like it was going to be dominated by the Ferrari and the Alpine. Should have seen it coming. He was on the hard tyre, surely he was going to come back into the race. First tyre to go off will obviously be the soft. I think the medium's going to have enough life not to have any drastic conditions at the end, but surely the hard will be the best tyre. It'll be the only tyre you can still throw around the circuit at that stage. Everybody else will be looking at their tyre conditions with a little bit of worry. Cheddar will be able to throw that car around. At the front, 2.4 seconds, so that gap remains the same. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Maybe what Panda was referring to. But Mango, he's picked up a penalty. We didn't see it happen. He's got a 3-second penalty next to his name, and that could be crucial. I think it will be crucial. The gap is 2.3 seconds, so as things stand, not on your leaderboard, but Logic is technically leading this race by 0.8 of a second. Mango's tires will fall off, so if that gap gets any smaller, well then Logic has this race pretty much guaranteed, unless Cheddar can do anything about it. That gap's still coming down, but it has slowed down 4.2 seconds. We have a caution. Quickly look around the racetrack for any stationary cars. Seems like everybody is on the move, so it must have been a brief moment off track for somebody. At the front, Mango from Logic. That gap below 2 seconds for the first time in a while. Cheddar getting the gap down to 4 seconds. So the top three getting closer and closer as the race is coming to an end. No real DRS battles in the field. This is the only DRS battle in the field. It's a battle for P4, Simps versus Brands. Gap between the two, 0.6 of a second. Everybody else is pretty spread out on the circuit. Seeing a Red Bull lock up heavy on the brakes, just giving me a little bit of PTSD. Max Verstappen on Sunday, just giving us a reminder of the Max Verstappen Toro Rosso days when he stepped into F1 and his driving style simply announced that he wasn't here to lose. Mango, another 3-second penalty, and now I think that is all the confirmation you need. Mango picks up a second 3-second time penalty. That's going to add up to 6 seconds, and he may still lose P3, or he may still go down to P3 rather. Remember, those softs will be falling off, and I wonder if those softs are just giving him an incredibly hard time right now. He's going over the white lines, trying to push. But if you're looking for a couple of tenths by cutting a line, a 3-second penalty is definitely not helping you. Now Logic, I don't think he wants to use the penalty to win the race. He wants to make the overtake on circuit. Currently in P2, 1.4 seconds, 1.3. It's the closest we've seen the gap. We spoke about Cheddar earlier. He was closing the gap, got the gap all the way down to 3.9 seconds. Now it's opened back up to 4.2. Maybe just accepting third place at this stage in the race. Just 2 laps to go. Doesn't want to throw it all away. Good points on the table. Mango still leads from Logic. The gap is 1.3 seconds. Mango wants to make the overtake on track. If he doesn't manage to make the overtake on track, he's still going to win this race by over 4 seconds. Mango will be cursing those penalties. And sometimes as you turn into a corner, you know it's going to happen. You know you're going to run wide. You look up at the top of your screen, you hope it doesn't show up, but inevitably, there it is, and it's happened to him twice. So 6 seconds worth of penalties. You can be an incredibly quick driver, but if you're going to pick up penalties, you just erase all that hard work you do on track. This is the Red Bull of Brands, just currently off the podium in P4. Don't think he's going to be able to get up into the podium positions. He's quite away from Cheddar. 9/10. Cheddar continues to close the gap. You just feel like he's going to run out of tarmac. He's going to run out of time in this race. The race is going to be between Mango and Logic. Don't know how much closer Cheddar can get. 3.7 seconds. Don't think there's enough time in the race for him to catch up to these two unless there's drama between the leaders. But remember, this is only a race visually. This is not going to be a race for the victory. The victory has been decided. The Alpine now leads the way on the timesheets and on track. Mango P2 with 6 seconds worth of penalties. That would currently demote him into P3. Maybe that's why Cheddar just accepted the position, saw the penalties up front, saw he could still take P2 out of this. 3 seconds adrift still, so he's not going to be able to do anything about the top two. Let's see, where are the top two? There they are. They're coming to the end of lap 33 of 33, and what a race it's been between the two. Penalty sort of nullified things, but we still got to see great wheel-to-wheel action, and Logic comes over the line, takes the victory. Mango comes over the line in P3, so he did lose P2 to Cheddar, and some carbon fiber flying off the cars at the end for good measure. Sure, the team owner will love the fact that you lost an end plate for no reason. It's not like the cost cap is a thing. But luckily for Cheddar, that damage came after the race. Driver of the day goes to Mango. Of course, he could have won this race had it not been for penalties. Logic did get through at the end, but I wonder if Mango would have defended that position a little bit harder if he didn't have the penalties. But there are your final results. Logic takes P1, Cheddar P2, Mango takes P3 and driver of the day as well as fastest lap, so he does pick up 16 points. Brands will finish P4. Mr. Rem P5, Divan P6, Sims P7, Virus P8, and then It's Ferry and Andre picking up the final points. No points on the night for Spikes and Maestro, and DNFs for Wizards and Loki. And I forgot to mute the game, so F1's going to try and copyright this video. If you ever wonder why you come back and watch a stream later and you can't hear anything when the results page comes up, not even my voice, well, it's because I've had to mute that section so that F1 doesn't claim the video. We're just going to wait a few moments. The top 3 drivers and the driver of the day. Today, the driver of the day is within the top 3 drivers. So the top 3 drivers, Logic, Cheddar, and Mango, they're invited to the cool down room. You can just either go to the NFR server and go to the cool down room, or if you're on the PlayStation, you can just switch over, and we'll just do I say it's an interview, but I'm not a very good interviewer, so usually it's just a short chat. No one in the cool down room just yet. Last night we had all 3 of the top 3 in the cool down room. Seems like tonight we've just got some mic shy people, but we'll give them a little bit more time. Obviously, we had a fantastic race today, lots of wheel to wheel, different strategies between the top three, soft, medium, hard. And unfortunately for Mango, penalties extinguished any hope he had of winning that race. Doesn't look like anybody's going to join. Of course, I want to thank everybody who's joined the stream today, everybody who's left a like. Really appreciate every single one of you. I hope to see all of you back on Wednesday night for Tier 2. Of course, we also broadcast on a Thursday night and on a Sunday evening for DRS and SKR. I hope to see you for as many of those streams as possible, and if you're not in the comment section, I hope to see you on track for as many of those races as possible. We're just going to go have a look again at the Discord. If anybody's joined the cool down room, doesn't appear to be the case. Nobody wants to be interviewed today. So we'll have a look one more time. And that's right, nobody has joined. So I'm going to end the stream. I'm going to say thank you one more time to everybody who's watched, everybody who left a like. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so that every time we upload, you can get a notification so you don't miss a race. I've also been putting up some videos on the channel, not league related, just some classic F1 stuff, some classic F1 engine sounds, some classic laps from the likes of PK, Senna, Prost. Go have a look. The channel's been doing very well, and I hope to see you all again on Wednesday. If not, we're here on Thursday, we're here on Sunday, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.